Let me paint a picture. It's a Friday night. I've got Slack notifications piling up, a glass of wine untouched, and a 3-hour client debrief playing on repeat in my head, right? My shoulders are tense, my inbox is a disaster, and all I can think about is, how did I build a business that looks successful on the outside but feels like a trap on the inside? Hey, and welcome back to the OBM show. I'm your host, Sarah Noked, and today we're getting real about what it takes to build a truly game-changing online business management business in 2026 without losing your mind, your health, or your weekends in the process. While we're on the topic of building smarter, more strategic businesses, I want to make sure you know about all of our free tools and trainings waiting for you at obmschool.com/resources. Inside, you'll find everything from systems templates and client management guides to mini trainings, mini live trainings that will help you strengthen your leadership and streamline how you run your business. And if you're ready to take the next step, maybe that's joining Accelerator, maybe it's getting accredited, or finding the right community to support your growth, you can explore all of our programs at obmschool.com/programs. Both pages are packed with practical tools and direction to help you move forward with clarity. This one's for the ambitious OBMs out there who want to grow their business, serve deeply, and make a real impact, but don't want to sacrifice their peace or burn out trying to get there. Because let's be honest, this industry moves fast. The pressure to keep up is real, but if you're not careful, you can easily build a business that looks great on paper, but feels like a trap. That's not what we're doing in 2026. We're building differently, we're building smarter, we're building more sustainably, and that's what this episode is all about. So let me take you back to a few years ago during my agency days, okay? This was at the very beginning of my agency days, and I had a full roster of clients, a team to manage, and on paper, things looked amazing. My agency was making multi-six figures. I was even doing 6-figure months, okay? But behind the scenes, I was unraveling. I had 4 full-time employees that I had trained as OBMs. I was constantly in meetings. I was constantly juggling client fires, and I was staying up late just to catch up on admin work. Now, back then, I was in my 20s and I could work 18-hour days. Now I'm in my 40s and it's different. But I vividly remember one Friday evening, I had just wrapped up a 3-hour debrief with a client, only to realize I had 4 more hours of inbox triage ahead of me. And I was so drained, my nervous system was shot, and I wasn't sleeping well. And that weekend, instead of recharging, I was glued to my laptop trying to get ahead, okay? You know what I'm talking about. That was my wake-up call. I knew that if I didn't change something, I was going to lose the passion I had for this work, or worse, burn out completely. This also sort of happened in tandem with having babies for me. So, it really that moment really forced me to reimagine what success looked like for me, right? Not just for my clients, but for me and my family. Like, I knew that I wanted to build a business that felt good to run, that gave me space to lead with intention, and most of all, one that allowed me to show up for my life and my kids, not just someone else's inbox. So what does it really look like to build a game-changing OBM business in 2026? First, it looks like defining what game-changing even means for you. For some people, it's a full roster of high-level clients and consistent 5-figure months. For others, it's a 3-day work week, with dream clients and space to breathe. There is no one size fits all here. The only rule is it has to work for you. And that's why I start every planning cycle in my business every quarter with a capacity check, not a revenue goal, not a client goal, a capacity check. How many hours can I actually work in a week and still feel like a human being, guys? How much white space do I want on my calendar? How many deep work hours do I really need or need to really lean inside a client's business? Not just do the tasks, but think strategically. And let's talk honestly here. If I've learned anything over the years, it's that most OBMs don't actually check in with themselves. They check in with their inbox, but when was the last time you actually checked yourself and asked yourself, does this business support my life? Or am I constantly rearranging my life around this business? So I'd also build my calendar around my non-negotiables. And friends, this took me far too long. And for me, a big part of it is yoga, okay? It's my anchor. It clears my head, it restores my energy. And it's not just yoga, it's also physical activity, right? Getting out of my chair and taking my dog for a walk. It clears my head, it restores my energy, and it reminds me of who I am outside of my business. And we forget, and I protect my time fiercely. And I encourage you to find your version of that. Whether it's morning walks, meditation, journaling, or just sitting on the floor with your dog, build your business around it and not the other way around. So next, let's talk about capacity-friendly offers, right? I see far too many OBMs trying to grow by piling more clients or more retainers or more calls, and that's not scale. That's self-employment overload. What actually works in 2026 is building offers that are deep and not wide. Fewer clients, higher value. Clear deliverables, and a structured container that allows you to lead without being on call 24/7. And that's what I love about this new generation of OBMs, what we're seeing inside of our accredited OBM certification community. They're crafting signature offers that are rooted in transformation. Things like 90-day launch systems, team infrastructure builds, or high-touch onboarding overhauls. These are the packages that are positioning them as leaders and not helpers, right? And they're pricing them accordingly. That means more impact, more respect, and yes, more revenue without more hustle. So let me share a quick story from one of our accredited OBMs, Danielle. So when she joined the community, she was juggling 5 clients and on the edge of burnout, right? Does that sound familiar? So we helped her restructure her services into a single high impact offer, a 3-month systems implementation with weekly strategy calls. And she went from making $4,000 across 5 clients a month to making $7K with 1. And I still remember the message she sent me the night she signed her first high-level client with this package. And she said, I just closed the deal and it's like my nervous system exhaled. And best of all, she has her evenings back, and that's what happens when you build your business with intention. So another OBM whose story always stands out to me is Milani. So we interviewed her just last month on A Day in the Life on our podcast and on the YouTube channel. And Milani has a background in corporate, in teaching, and was working as a VA when she met me and was very skeptical at first that OBM work could feel aligned and feel energized. But once she really stepped into the right offer structure and really embraced her strategic leadership, her business exploded. She now works with only 2 high-quality retainer clients, and she manages teams and leaderships and systems and all of that good stuff. And she still has time for her kids, for her midday walks, and just for being, the kind of person she wants to be. So what changed for her wasn't her skills, it was her boundaries, it was her belief in what was possible, and ultimately in understanding what to offer and who the client was. So another piece of that puzzle was boundaries that stick. So in 2026, what changed wasn't her skills, it was her boundaries and her belief in what was possible. Now, another piece of this puzzle is boundaries that stick. So in 2026, we're not just setting boundaries, we're enforcing them with structure. That means using tools like ClickUp to manage communication. That means clear onboarding that tells your client when and how you're available in a beautifully curated welcome kit. That means having an offboarding workflow so clients know exactly how your work wraps up and so that you can ask that testimonial as well. And yes, this also includes your internal boundaries, like not checking your email or your Slack after 5 p.m., like not jumping into emergency mode just because a client panicked. You are not your client's fire extinguisher. You are their strategic partner, and partners lead from a calm, grounded place, not chaos. Now, let's address the elephant in the room, and that is visibility. Now, if you're going to build a game-changing OBM business in 2026, people need to know you exist. But that doesn't mean burning out on content. It means choosing sustainable visibility. And for me, that's this podcast and our YouTube channel. For you, it might be one strong platform like LinkedIn or Instagram or email or even referrals. But here's the key. Systematize it. One of the tools I rely on is the visibility tracker we introduced in an OBM workshop last year. It's a simple but powerful spreadsheet that helps me track when I've posted, what I've talked about, and what's coming next. And I batch my content during my most creative windows, and then I schedule it in advance. Like right now, it's November 1st, and I'm recording for the end of this year. When I'm staying on top of my rhythm around visibility, I am staying ahead of the game. I'm not scrambling to show up. I've built a rhythm that works for me. This way, I stay visibly consistent without burning out or feeling like I have to reinvent the wheel every time I post, or there are just some days where I don't feel like it. And if you're wondering how all of this comes together in real life, go check out the Day in the Life of an OBM podcast, YouTube series, and you will hear stories from accredited OBMs like Adaya, who I recently interviewed, who is streamlining her agency into a well-oiled one, or Lindsay, who restructured her client model and completely transformed her schedule. So in her episode, she talks about how she was stuck in a reactive, task-heavy mode, and how after going through accreditation, she shifted into a leadership role, managing her clients' teams, forecasting launches, and building strategic operations. And she now works fewer hours, charges more, and has become her clients' go-to for big picture ops strategy. Now, these women didn't build overnight success stories. They built real intentional businesses with systems, boundaries, clarity, and community. Before we wrap up, don't forget you can grab a ton of free tools, templates, and trainings to help you grow as an online business manager at obmschool.com/resources. And when you're ready for your next step, whether that's joining the OBM Accelerator or becoming an accredited OBM or connecting with our advanced community, everything you need to know is waiting for you at obmschool.com/programs. Thanks for tuning into the OBM Show. If today's episode gave you just a little bit more clarity or motivation or just a reminder that sustainable success is possible, share it with another OBM who needs to hear it. Subscribe, leave a review, and most importantly, keep showing up, keep leading, and keep building a business that supports your life, not the other way around. I'm here cheering you on every step of the way.